Well, g'day there, traders. Thanks a lot for joining me on this Tuesday aftermarket close special. What I will not be doing is recapping the individual markets as at the close on Tuesday. Instead, I'd rather focus on a couple of select stocks, which is certainly giving us some very interesting types of signals. Most importantly, right now at this particular moment is BIDU. Now, BIDU has been a relatively profitable trade for us since entering. Firstly, around 168, and then secondly, at 170, we did see a very quick move upwards towards 177. That was about 1.5 weeks ago. We have seen that engulfing candlestick right here, that first warning signal that, look, we may begin to start tightening some of our stops on the bullish trade to lock in some profit. We did see a brief pullback. Again, over the past 4 trading sessions, we have seen BIDU continue. Now, we have had an original target up here just under or just above $181 a share. As at the close on Tuesday, it looks as though there are going to be some problems for us, at least expecting price moving on up to, again, $181.09 per share. We have, in fact, over the past 2 trading sessions, have been left with relatively bearish types of candlesticks. On Monday, we were left with what we call a hangman type of candle. I mean, it is a hybrid type of candlestick. We can reference it as a hangman. We can also say it is a hammer, depending on which sort of location it is showing up with. I would like to say that we are at some form of a short-term resistance area, which I am expecting to overcome. So I am going to call it and remain calling it a hangman type of candle. But most importantly, really the candlestick which we need to pay more attention to and focus more on is today the second type of candlestick. This is what we call a shooting star candlestick, and it has just developed as at the close on Tuesday. Again, we have that long upper wick showing up around resistance. And the reason why I am calling this resistance is because we have that engulfing candlestick pattern which showed up about 1.5 weeks ago, which was our first warning signal that, hey, again, begin to lock in profits if in fact you want to sort of close out of this trade in due course. Now, we may continue higher Wednesday through Friday this week if the market holds where it is currently trading at, and if we see bullish momentum again flow back into the markets, then BIDU should push on up to our first target up here at 181.09. But again, we've got some really nice profit on this. It has closed more or less at 175. It's at 174.99. We've got some decent profit on this trade. So whether or not you want to close out of it, that's your decision. You may want to again lock in profit and place your stop below today's low. So below Tuesday's low, that will ensure a pretty decent profit for you on those core contracts. Anyway, I just wanted to bring that to your attention. A shooting star right at around resistance with that previous engulfing candlestick pattern. This is trade analysis on the fly. If it isn't moving and if it hasn't moved up into our target, we're just breaking down the individual chart patterns and of course candlestick patterns too. Make sure that these trades remain profitable. Interestingly enough, also on BIDU is that we have been in some form of a long-term symmetrical triangle. Now, generally with symmetrical triangles, we want to sort of look at them from a 1 to 3 month, at most 6 month type of time frame. And if we did do that, I mean, really from September, it sort of fits more so that 6 month time frame. I know I'm really stretching. It's probably closer to 8 or 9 months. But again, if you go back in time and take the high, which was late 2014, we have been respecting these lower areas of resistance. And again, since August, September 2015, we have been respecting these higher lows, which have been acting as support right now. And again, we're already in this trade, but we're getting very close to the apex. So very similar to what I was speaking about a couple of days ago on the stock Disney. Well, you know, we're talking about rolling out of trade number 1, i.e. closing down the trade for a profit if in fact price breaks below, of course, today's low. But over the weekend in Pro, I was talking about rolling it over and thinking about trade number 2, and it really stems from, again, that symmetrical triangle. So I'll have more to speak to you about that in terms of trade analysis over the weekend. Another stock which I want to bring to your attention is IBM. We've been sort of really vigilant on IBM for some time, and we've got some really incredible types of trade signals setting up on this particular stock. Again, very similar to BIDU, we've got that downward sloping trend line. Again, this is common through a lot of individual trades, but what most importantly strikes out to me is this particular candlestick right here. We, I guess, took note of it on this particular day. We've got that big volume spike on face value, a green volume bar. I mean, it looks okay. We've got a white candlestick just here. But what I assume to be what's going on sort of below the surface for IBM is that there's a lot of sellers selling IBM up and around this declining trend line, which is coming in at about 162. Since this particular candlestick right here, we've been relatively neutral with sort of a negative outlook on this stock. We haven't traded bearish. We don't have any open bearish trades on IBM, but we're vigilant about a bigger sort of continuation to the downside. And the reason I say that is that if I zoom out again onto the big long-term picture of this chart, we've got a series of consecutive lower highs, which is problematic moving forward for bulls out there. Ultimately and obviously, there is going to come a time when the trend on IBM reverses, and it is that of a bullish trend. Right now, the good news is that we are at more or less a neutral pivot point, and we've identified this, and what we're doing right now is paying very close attention to possible chart patterns which are showing up, volume signals, indicators also to do with an overbought, oversold type of setting where we are in conjunction with the overall trend, and what appears to be happening very, very shortly, and just to break it down very simply, is that we've retraced back into that declining primary trend, and that we're most likely going to see some form of a reversal on the IBM stock or on the IBM share. So pay attention to it. It hasn't played out yet. We may be putting in some form of a head and shoulders type of pattern up and around this relative resistance area, or this very important macro resistance area. Time will tell. We also have a contingent order to the upside on IBM, but I'm very cautious on this particular stock. We are moving into sort of an oversold setting, so it wouldn't surprise me to see the stock rally and rally back up to about 163, 164. If that happens and it starts to roll again, pardon me, we will be looking at this as some form of a triple top, if not a head and shoulders chart topping pattern right at that primary declining resistance area. So pay attention to that. They are two potential stocks, or at least one is actionable on BIDU. Stock number two, which was IBM, is more so an outlook, which has got a lot of sort of profit potential if in fact we see price confirmation move below certain areas, or if in fact we see IBM break above its declining resistance area. That will really confirm a new bullish trend in effect on IBM. So pay attention. A couple of stocks that I looked at recently was Disney. Now Disney hasn't really broken down nor broken out. It is holding that support area very close to 94.42. No real material move in Disney. And that other stock that we were looking at, of course, was Target, ticker symbol TGT. And we were speaking about the bearish continuation off from this resistance box, which we'd drawn, and essentially the neckline, which had broken. Well, here we are. We were calling this a bear flag. We haven't really seen, again, a material move yet or any material commitment in terms of price to the downside, but we do have another bearish candlestick on Tuesday. It is what we call sort of a tweezer top. Whether or not it's in the right location, that is relatively debatable. However, we've still got that trigger sitting ready at 69.12 on target. All right, so that will do us for this Tuesday afternoon market recap. Enjoy your evening, everyone. I'll be back with you probably later in the week. I'm not sure how I'll go about doing a Wednesday market update. I will, of course, do that if, in fact, the market has a major material move. But again, the difference between really the start of the week, if I just show you this on the weekly candle so far, on the Dow Jones Industrial Average, we're up 53 points over 2 trading sessions, not the biggest of moves. And on the S&P 500, just up under 7 points. And of course, on the NASDAQ, this is relatively scary in terms of analysis. Not so much scary, but definitely interesting. On the weekly chart, right, we've got 3 consecutive dojis. Oh, well, I mean, 2 weeks ago, we have technically a spinning top, but very close to 3 consecutive dojis, which is very interesting. That is extreme indecision at these relative all-time highs. So we'll see if anything comes about from that on the NASDAQ moving forward. But until then, it is James signing off on behalf of Pivot Point Trading. Enjoy your evening, everyone. I'll see you next time. Goodbye.